The Galactic Concord had ruled known space for thousands of years. Every species followed the same strict rules about how the universe worked. No ship could move faster than light without using special gates. No weapon could make energy from nothing. No engine could ignore gravity or mass or time. These laws kept peace and order across countless stars. One quiet day near the edge of the Perseus Arm, a strange signal appeared on Concord sensors. It came from empty space where nothing should be. The signal showed a single ship moving at impossible speed. The mass read 4 million tons, yet it crossed light years in moments. No warp bubble formed around it. No exotic matter leaked from its engines. No gate opened to let it through. The ship simply existed in one place, then another place far away. Concord officers stared at their screens in silence. This could not happen, according to every known law. Ambassador Calvor of the Zethari race called an urgent meeting. His mandibles clicked with worry as he spoke to the council.
This object breaks every accord we have.
If it is real, then our understanding of reality fails. If it is a trick, then someone mocks our power. Scout drones raced toward the signal. They arrived and sent back clear images. The ship carried human markings. It flew the flag of the United Nations. Humanity had joined the Concord only a short time ago. Most aliens saw humans as stubborn but harmless. They came from one small star system. They argued a lot and built things slowly. No one expected them to challenge the basic rules of existence. The ship name showed in bright letters on its hull, UNS Defiance. The name felt like a warning. Concord commanders ordered a full fleet to surround it. 37 warships from different species formed a tight sphere. Largest came from the Vorath with their crushing gravity weapons. Others came from the Luminar with crystal hulls that bent light. Zethari science vessels hung back to watch and measure. They broadcast messages in every language. Identify yourself. State your purpose. Prepare for boarding. Explain this violation. The Defiance answered with one calm voice. This is Captain Elena Voss of the United Nations Starship Defiance. We are on a normal test flight. Your ships are close. Please move back for safety. The voice sounded polite yet firm. No fear came through. No excuses appeared. The Concord flagship Eternal Harmony sent a warning shot. A pulse of gravity rolled toward the human ship. It should have twisted metal and stopped engines. Instead, the pulse bent away at the last moment. It curved like water around a stone. The gravity wave never touched the Defiance. Strange numbers. The human ship mass changed every tiny fraction of a second. It dropped to nothing, then jumped to endless weight. No machine in the galaxy could do that. A Zethari scanner tried a deep look inside the ship. The data came back and burned 3 cores. The scan hit a loop. It saw itself sent from the future back to the past. The information folded in on itself until hardware failed. Crew members felt sick watching the readouts. One Luminar officer whispered that reality itself had cracked. Panic spread through the fleet command channels. Admirals argued in private. Some wanted to fire everything at once. Others begged to wait and study. The humans had shown nothing hostile yet. They only moved in ways that should destroy the universe. Captain Voss spoke again over open channels. We see your worry. We understand the rules you follow. Those rules work well for most travelers. Brackets. We follow different rules when needed. Please do not force us to show more. The words carried no threat. They sounded like simple fact. Across the Concord worlds, news began to leak. Citizens of every species watched live feeds. They saw one small human ship face an armada. They saw impossible movement. They saw calm defiance. Fear grew in alien hearts. If humans could ignore physics, what else could they ignore? Old stories of human stubbornness returned to memory. Humans never accepted no for an answer. They climbed mountains because they existed. They crossed oceans because water blocked the way. Now they crossed the galaxy because light speed blocked the way. The council met again in secret. HFY War spoke with shaking voice. We must decide soon. If we attack and fail, the shame never ends. If we wait and they grow stronger, the Concord falls. Slammed his claw on the table. We crush them now. No single ship defeats 37 capitals. His officers agreed with growls. The Luminar elder raised a glowing hand. Wait, study first. Knowledge matters more than pride. The debate continued for hours. While they talked, the Defiance drifted forward slowly. It approached the containment sphere without hurry. Every sensor locked on it. Every weapon stayed ready. The human ship stopped just outside the edge. It hung there like a quiet challenge. Captain Voss sent one last message. We will continue our tests. Join us if you wish. Stay away if you prefer. The choice belongs to you. The transmission ended. The Defiance engines glowed soft blue. No roar came, no heat wave spread. The ship simply vanished from its spot. It reappeared 10 light minutes away, then 20, then further still. Each jump broke another law. No flash marked its departure. No ripple disturbed nearby stars. The galaxy watched one small ship leave their grasp. It moved free and calm. It showed the Concord that some rules no longer applied. Not because humans hated them, but because humans chose not to listen. The shock settled deep in every alien mind. Humanity had arrived, and reality would never feel safe again. The fleet closed in around the Defiance like a net of steel and fear. 37 warships held position in perfect formation. Their weapons glowed, ready to fire. Their shields hummed with full power. Vorath dreadnoughts led the circle, with black hulls that swallowed light. Luminar crystals shimmered in rainbow colors behind them. Zethary scouts darted between the giants, taking endless readings. Every captain watched the single human ship in the center. It floated calm and still. No engines flared. No guns turned. It looked small next to the Armada. Yet every sensor screamed danger. The Eternal Harmony sent the first direct order. Human vessel, you will identify your drive system. You will explain your transit method. You will allow boarding teams immediately. Failure to comply will result in force. The message repeated in every language the Concord knew. Moment. Then Captain Elena Voss spoke again. Her voice came clear over every channel. This is Captain Voss. We hear your request. We decline boarding at this time. Our drive is classified. Our methods follow human engineering standards. We pose no threat unless attacked. Please keep your distance. The words hung in the void. No please or sorry softened them. They stood plain and final. A Vorath admiral named Grathok roared in rage. His ship broadcast anger across the fleet. They mock us. One ship against many. Fire the Gravlance. Disable their engines now. The crushing logic obeyed without delay. A beam of twisted space shot forward. It wrapped gravity into a spear that should crush hulls like paper. The lance struck true, or it seemed to. The beam touched the Defiance and bent. It curved away in loops that made no sense. Harmless ripples. The human ship did not even shake. Sensors on the crushing logic went wild. Mass readings flipped from 0 to infinity in blinks. Inertial dampers reported forces that never happened. Crew members felt dizzy, as if time slipped sideways. One officer clutched his head and muttered, "Impossible." The fleet froze in confusion. What weapon did that? No known shield stopped gravity that way. A Zathari science ship pushed closer. It fired a tight sensor beam deep into the Defiance. The beam should have mapped every deck and system. Instead, the data rushed back twisted. The returning information looped. It showed the scan starting before the ship even fired it. Cores overheated and smoked. Alarms screamed across the Zathari bridge. 3 processors melted into slag. The lead scientist stared at the ruined console. This cannot be. The ship reflects our probe through time. It answers before we ask. Panic flowed through the command net. Admirals shouted over each other. Some called for full salvo. Others demanded retreat. The Luminar Elder spoke calm but firm. Hold fire. We learn nothing from destruction. We must understand first. Captain Voss addressed them once more. We see your confusion. We share no desire for conflict. Your rules make sense for your ships. Our ship follows different math. Attack us, and you attack something you do not comprehend. The warning carried weight without anger. It felt like truth spoken plain. Grathok ignored the caution. He ordered another strike. This time 10 singularity torpedoes launched together. Each one carried a tiny black hole, ready to grow and devour. They streaked toward the Defiance in deadly silence. The human ship turned slowly to face them. It did not run into the path. Its hull blurred as speed climbed past every limit. Light bent around it in strange ways. The torpedoes closed fast. Impact seemed certain. Then the impossible happened again. The Defiance reached out with nothing visible. No beam, no field, no weapon showed on any stand. Yet the singularities twisted. Their event horizons stretched into thin rings. The rings spun into shapes no math described. Mobius strips of darkness glowed for a heartbeat. Then they popped like bubbles. Pure light burst outward harmless. The energy that should have eaten ships vanished backward. It traveled along the same path the torpedoes came from. On the crushing logic, every tube stood empty. Crew remembered loading them. Then they remembered not loading them. Memories fought inside heads. Some vomited from the contradiction. Others sat frozen with wide eyes. The whole fleet saw it clear. One human ship unraveled weapons built to kill stars. No explosion marked the end. No debris floated. The torpedoes simply never were. Captain Voss spoke gentle now. We asked you to stay back. We repeat the request. Your next move decides much. The Eternal Harmony bridge fell quiet. Officers looked to their admiral. He stared at the view screen. His face showed something new. Not anger, not pride. Fear. Real fear. Across the Concord worlds, billions watched the feed. They saw the Armada stand helpless. They saw one ship defy everything sacred. Stories spread like fire. Humans break reality. Humans laugh at laws. Humans win without fighting. The council chamber buzzed with urgent voices. Kael'vor demanded answers. How does one ship do this? A human diplomat sat in the guest seat. He smiled small and said nothing. His silence answered louder than words. The Defiance drifted forward again. It moved slow and sure. It passed between Vorath ships without touch. Shields flared useless against nothing. The human vessel stopped once more. It hung in the heart of the formation, surrounded yet untouched. Captain Voss sent a final open message. We continue our cruise. Follow if you want knowledge. Attack if you want ruin. The choice remains yours. Engines glowed soft once again. The Defiance slipped away. It jumped without fanfare. One moment close, next moment far. Each leap tore another hole in alien certainty. The fleet stayed behind. Weapons cold, pride broken, understanding gone. The galaxy felt smaller suddenly. One species had reminded everyone. Some rules only hold until someone ignores them, and humans ignored very well. The council chamber on the Concord Central Station filled with urgent voices. Leaders from every major species gathered in hologram form. Their faces showed strain and disbelief. Kael'vor stood at the center podium. His antenna trembled as he addressed the assembly. We face an unprecedented crisis. One human ship has rendered our finest weapons useless. It unraveled singularities as if they were thread. Our understanding of physics crumbles before our eyes. We must act with wisdom, not haste. A Vorath warlord named Grathok slammed his armored fist down. His hologram shook from the force. Wisdom? We tried wisdom, and they laughed. 37 ships could not stop one. We launch everything now. Full fleet barrage. Erase that abomination from existence. Murmurs rose among the delegates. Some nodded in angry agreement. Others shook their heads in caution. The Luminar elder named Silara raised her glowing limb. Her voice carried calm light. Destruction without knowledge brings only greater ruin. We have seen what happens when we strike. The human ship turns our force against us. It erases cause before effect begins. We must observe more, learn their method, then decide. Kael'vor looked around the chamber. He saw fear hidden behind pride. He saw doubt eating at certainty. Very well, he said. We authorize a final demonstration of force. Limited, but overwhelming. If they survive, we retreat and study. If they fall, we claim victory. The order went out to the fleet. Every captain acknowledged receipt. The containment sphere tightened once more. Ships moved into attack positions. Weapons charged to maximum. The crushing logic led the assault. It fired first. A barrage of gravitic lances shot forward in unison, killing lines. They raced toward the Defiance. The human ship did not move away. It turned to face the incoming storm. Its hull shimmered with faint blue light. Then it accelerated straight into the beams. Speed climbed beyond reason. The ship blurred into near invisibility. Light stretched red around its edges. The lances struck home. Or they should have. Each beam bent at the last instant. They looped into impossible curves. They folded back on themselves. The energy unraveled into harmless sparks. The sparks drifted away like dying fireflies. No damage showed on the Defiance. No scorch marks appeared. The fleet sensors screamed contradictions. Mass flux readings broke every scale. Temporal shear lines appeared where none should exist. Crew on the Vorath ships clutched consoles. They felt time slip in their bones. One gunnery officer reported his hands moving before his eyes. Mind commanded. Another saw his own death replay backward. The barrage ended. Silence fell across the formation. Captain Voss spoke over open channels once more. Her tone stayed even and patient. You continue to test boundaries we asked you not to cross. We respond in kind. Observe closely now. The Defiance turned slowly. It pointed its bow toward a distant asteroid field. The field floated harmless many light minutes away. Rock and metal chunks drifted in lazy orbits. Nothing special marked the place. The human ship fired no visible weapon. No beam lanced out. No missile launched. Yet the asteroid field changed. One by one the rocks vanished. They did not explode. They did not shatter. They simply stopped having ever existed. Matter rewound to before the Big Bang. Energy redistributed into the void. Emptiness replaced what once was stone. Sensors confirmed impossible. The field had mass and position moments ago. Now only echoes remained. Crew across the fleet stared in horror. A Zethari scientist whispered sacred terms of disbelief. This weapon reaches backward through causality. It kills by never allowing birth. Silara watched from her crystal throne. Her light dimmed for the first time in memory. She spoke soft to the council. They do not break laws. They rewrite them at will. The Defiance broadcast again. We call this device a causality lance. It adjusts outcomes to preferred states. We use it for precision work, not war. We show you this so you understand restraint. We could have aimed elsewhere. We chose not to. The message ended. The ship drifted forward once more. It passed through the heart of the fleet. Shields flared useless. Weapons locked on empty space. No one dared fire again. Stopped near the eternal harmony. Close enough for clear visual contact. Captain Elena Voss appeared on every view screen. She stood on her bridge in a simple gray uniform. She held a steaming mug in one hand. Her eyes met the camera without anger, without triumph, only calm certainty. "We grow tired of this dance," she said. "Your rules served you well for ages. They no longer apply here. Humanity learned long ago that limits exist to be questioned. We question hard. We answer harder. Return to your stations. Reflect on what you witnessed. We continue our tests. Interfere again and the lesson becomes permanent." The image faded. The Defiance engines glowed once more. Soft blue light spread gentle. The ship slipped away. It jumped in smooth stages. Each hop stretched further than the last. The fleet remained frozen. Weapons powered down on their own. Issued retreat orders in quiet voices. No cheers marked the withdrawal. No boasts filled the channels. Only stunned silence traveled home. Across the galaxy, citizens watched the final feed. They saw one ship face death and send it away. They saw reality bend to human will. Fear spread through every species. Not the fear of invasion, but the fear of irrelevance. If physics bowed to humans, what place remained for others? The shock settled deep. It rooted in minds and cultures. The Concorde would never view the universe the same again. One small ship had taught a painful truth. Some forces do not negotiate. They simply decide. And humanity had decided long ago to decide for itself. The news traveled faster than any ship in the fleet. Every relay station, every comm buoy, every quantum link carried the same images. One human vessel facing down an armada. Weapons vanishing into nothing. Asteroids erased from history. Citizens on 1,000 worlds stopped their daily lives to watch. Insectoid Zathari huddled in hive chambers, staring at glowing screens. Crystalline Luminar dimmed their inner light in shock. Vorath warriors lowered their weapons in silent confusion. Even the most distant species felt the ripple. Religious leaders called it the end of days. Scientists called it the death of reason. Politicians called emergency sessions that lasted through night cycles. The word human became something new. Not just another young race, but a force that rewrote the rules everyone else obeyed. On the central Concorde station, diplomats crowded the halls. Tongue, poem, and light, and scent. How did one ship do this? Why did the humans hide such power? What happens next? A human representative sat quietly in the observer gallery. He wore a plain suit and smiled when anyone looked his way. He answered no questions. He offered no explanations. His silence spoke volumes. The Defiance continued its journey. It moved through contested space without hurry. It visited places no one expected. First it approached a neutron star. The star spun fast, throwing out deadly radiation. Any normal ship would shred apart from tidal forces. The Defiance orbited close. It matched the insane rotation without strain. Its hull stayed cool. Its crew reported normal conditions. Captain Voss even ordered coffee served on the bridge. The mug stayed hot through the worst gravity shear. Next, the ship flew toward a supermassive black hole. It entered the ergosphere where light itself struggles. Time stretched and twisted for outside watchers. Inside the Defiance, nothing changed. Clocks ticked steady. Crew walked normally. They ran diagnostics as if parked in dry dock. When they emerged, the black hole seemed smaller for a moment, as if it had lost a tiny piece of itself. No one could explain how. The galaxy watched every move. Telescopes tracked the impossible path. Sensors strained to catch any clue. Every attempt failed. Simulations crashed with errors no code could fix. One brave Luminar physicist published a theory. The humans have not violated physics, they have convinced physics to look the other way. The paper spread like wildfire. Some laughed, some cried. Most felt cold fear. The defiance broadcast no threats. It simply existed. That existence alone changed everything. A peace delegation formed in haste. Representatives from the major species boarded a neutral shuttle. They carried no weapons. They carried hope. The shuttle approached the human ship slow and careful. A hangar bay opened without signal. The shuttle entered. The bay closed gentle behind them. Captain Elena Voss waited at the airlock. She wore her gray jumpsuit. She held a warm mug of tea. No guards stood beside her. No weapons showed anywhere. She greeted each delegate by name. She spoke their languages perfectly. "Welcome," she said. "Come inside. We have much to discuss." The group followed her down wide corridors. The ship felt clean and quiet. Crew members nodded politely as they passed. Some smiled. Some carried tools. None looked worried. They reached a simple meeting room. A round table waited. Chairs fit every body type. Refreshments sat ready. Coffee, water, nutrient paste. Captain Voss took her seat. She sipped her tea. She looked at each face in turn. "You wanted to know how," she said. "The answer is simple. Every species we met told us what could not be done. We listened carefully. We wrote it all down. Then we did those things anyway. Stubbornness becomes a force when you apply enough of it." A Zathari delegate clicked mandibles in confusion. "But the laws are absolute. Energy conservation, causality, space-time structure. How do you ignore them?" Voss set her mug down. "We do not ignore them. We question their scope. The universe allows loopholes. We found them. We widened them. We built tools to use them safely. Your accords assume one set of rules for everyone. We found rules bend for those who push hard enough." A Vorath warrior leaned forward. "You could destroy us all. Why show us anything? Mercy. Because destruction serves no purpose. We want neighbors, not ashes. We want trade, not conquest. We want respect, not fear. But respect comes from strength, and we have shown ours." The Luminar elder spoke soft. "What now? Will you share your secrets? Will you join us fully?" Voss smiled small. "We share what we choose, when we choose. For now, we offer one gift." She touched a panel. A data crystal appeared. It glowed faint blue. "This contains basic principles, a reality compliance engine outline. Use it wisely, or ignore it. The choice is yours. But remember, we watch." The delegates took the crystal with careful hands. They felt its weight. They felt its promise. They felt its warning. The meeting ended quiet. The shuttle left the hangar. The Defiance watched it go. Then it turned away. It accelerated smooth. Jumped toward human space. No dramatic flash. No final words. Just departure. The galaxy breathed again, but nothing felt the same. Accords were rewritten in secret. New preambles appeared. All Constance advisory pending further review. Militaries trained for one scenario. Do not provoke humanity. Scientists worked in new directions. They chased human shadows. They failed mostly. But some succeeded small. A few ships tested new drives. They moved a little faster. They bent a little more. Progress came slow, but it came. And in quiet moments, leaders remembered one ship, one captain, one mug of tea. They remembered the lesson. The universe has laws, until someone stronger suggests otherwise. Humanity suggested very well, and the shock lingered, deep and permanent, like a scar on reality itself. The Defiance slipped back into human space without fanfare. It crossed the final jump point near Sol with engines barely worn. No victory parade waited. No crowds cheered from orbital platforms. Only quiet docking clamps locked onto the hull. Crew members stepped out, tired but proud. They carried stories no one else can tell. Captain Elena Voss filed her report in a small office on Titan. She spoke plain facts into the recorder. Mission complete. All tests successful. No casualties. No damage. Galactic Concord contained without escalation. She ended the log and shut it down. Outside her window, the rings of Saturn glowed soft in reflected light. New ships already grew in the dry docks below. Larger frames rose from scaffolding. Sleeker lines promised even greater reach. Engineers worked around the clock. They built on what the Defiance proved. Reality could bend. Further. Humanity planned to bend it more. Word of the encounter spread through every channel humans used. News feeds carried clipped footage. Talk shows debated for days. Ordinary people watched in bars and homes. They saw their flag on that impossible ship. They felt something new stir inside. Pride mixed with quiet wonder. We did that, they said to each other. One of ours stood against the galaxy. And the galaxy blinked first. Diplomats returned from the Concord station. They brought the data crystal and endless questions. Leaders met in closed rooms on Earth and Mars. They studied the outline Voss gave. Reality Compliance Engine. The name sounded simple. The principles inside felt anything but. Scientists worked in secret labs. They tested small pieces first. A lab on Luna bent gravity by fractions. A station near Jupiter slowed time in a test chamber. Built on the last. Progress came careful and steady. No one rushed. They remembered the warning in the crystal. Use responsibly or do not. The choice is yours, but we watch. Across the wider galaxy, the shock refused to fade. Concord worlds rewrote their laws in quiet ways. Physics accords gained new lines. All prior constants considered provisional, subject to revision by observed phenomena. Species that once boasted superiority now spoke softer. Vorath fleets trained for defense only. They no longer patrolled human borders. Luminar scholars wrote treatises on humility. They taught young crystals to question assumptions. Zethari hives built new sensors. They scanned for human signatures first in every sweep. Fear turned to wary respect. Respect turned to cautious curiosity. Some species sent quiet requests. They asked for talks. They asked for trade. They asked to trade. Learn. Humanity answered slow. They shared small things. Basic drive tweaks. Shield harmonics. Nothing that gave full power. Nothing that removed the advantage. Always with the same polite message. We welcome friends. We remember tests of force. Choose friendship. The balance held. No war came. No invasion followed. The galaxy settled into a new normal. One where humans moved free. One where others watched from safer distances. Years passed in human terms. Decades in some alien cycles. The Defiance went to museum orbit around Earth. School groups visited her halls. They walked the corridors she once commanded. They touched consoles that bent reality. Guides told the story simple and clear. One ship, one captain, one choice to question everything. Children listened wide-eyed. They dreamed of captaining the next one. In hidden shipyards, the newest class rose. They carried names like Resolve and Audacity. They promised to make the Defiance look small. Engines drew from places physics once forbade. Weapons adjusted outcomes before questions arose. Crew trained for calm under impossible strain. They learned the same lesson Voss taught. Stubbornness when focused becomes unstoppable. The Concorde sent one final delegation. They arrived at Sol under white flags of peace. They met human leaders on neutral ground, a station in the Oort cloud. Talks lasted months. Agreements formed slow. Trade routes opened. Knowledge exchanged in careful drops. A new accord took shape, not one of strict laws, but one of mutual understanding. Humans would not conquer. Others would not provoke. The universe grew larger for everyone, yet humans held the quiet edge because they never accepted impossible as final. On clear nights, people looked up from colony worlds. They saw stars unchanged, yet everything felt different. A single ship had reminded the galaxy. Laws guide until someone stronger walks past them. Humanity walked past and kept walking. In shipyards, the next hulls gleamed under worklights. Welders sang old songs. Engineers dreamed bigger. Captains trained new crews. The future stretched wide and bright. And somewhere in the quiet of command decks, voices whispered the old challenge, "Hold our beer." The words carried no malice, only certainty. The galaxy heard them, and shivered just a little, because the next demonstration waited patient, ready when needed, and humanity stayed ready, always.